Phew. Welcome back, everyone. It was a sunny week. I hope it was for you. This is Fine Music number 509. Yes. And who better to start off every Monday than Fred, the jazz man, Whitlock.
Hey, I found out there's a club in Highland Park, ETA. I'm not sure if they're still open. I think they are. It stands for Enfield Tennis Academy. It's a small club, and ETA. And there's been a bunch of players there experimenting, playing 45-minute numbers. And one of those is guitarist Jeff Parker. This is where I started with him. His new album is called The Way Out of Easy. And he is a guitarist at 57. He's got numerous albums out and he's been a sideman on tons of albums. So he's all over playing with a bunch of people. And this album just starts out incredibly probing melody and exploring sound. It's almost like it's lo-fi jazz. They're experimental yet melodic and always coherent. It's improvised and it features, along with Parker on guitar, Jeff Johnson on sax, and Butters on bass. And if you like John Hansel's some of his recordings, I think you should check out these pieces. These are four long numbers on this album. And like I said, it's impressionistic numbers. There's great guitar lines that create an atmosphere, and saxophone rises over it quietly sometimes. And the numbers drift and float. There's sometimes hypnotic. There's a The album ends on a song called Dome,
Chrome
and
Dome.
like the rest of the album, it's a minimalist groove and impressionistic, uh, spooky dubs. This is a quote from someone: an array of sounds, big fat grooves, hazy ambience, spooky dubs, and exploratory solos. A wonderful album that I picked up on and just discovered this guitarist. And then I found out his bass player, Anna Butters, has her own albums out, and her latest one is called The Mighty Vertebrate. She's a composer and bass player, and she's out of this whole same groove of playing in Highland Park. She plays long trance-like improvisation sometimes. It's modern Parker. And there's a Dance Steve is a number that Parker plays on. It's got an ambient beginning to it, and then it goes in electronic Afro beats and a kind of rock feel flowing jazz number. She plays on double bass upright and she plays electric bass. She plays synthesizers, and it features Josh Johnson on alto with also special effects to his horn playing sometimes. It's a soaring jam session, which but cerebral grooves, and it ends on a wonderful note. Saturno is the name of the number, and it's reflective. It's like you're inhaling and exhaling these emotions with the number. It's a wonderful album. I would say look into Ann Butters also, along with Jeff Parker. Then that led me to another group that's been playing at ETA, a group of people that are associated with Jeff Parker. SML, and their album is Small, Medium, Large. That's what SML stands for. 13 cuts. It came out in June. It features again Josh Johnson on saxophone, and it has Ann, Anna Butters on bass again, and starts out with Rubber Tree Dance. It's funky numbers and electrifying and spacey soundtrack. It's almost like being on a little jazz voyage. Uh, the feeling is like the other numbers, soaring soul, soaring sounds. If you like, say, maybe Herbie Hancock's electronic funky stuff, you would like this album, SML. It's a remarkable journey and great experiments done on this album by the musicians. It really impressed me. Now, then that when I was reading about these people, another name came up, MAKAYA McCRAVEN. He's a drummer, composer, and producer, and he's somewhat tied into some of these people. And Jeff Parker shows up on his album that came out in 22 called In These Times. And Downbeat, when he first came out with an album called him, he won the Rising Star Award of the Year. Uh, it starts out with spoken word and then electronics, goes into electronics, and a saxophone comes in. Greg Ward is on sax. There's electric bass, and like I said, Jeff Parker on guitar, and trumpets, and there's a song called The Fours that it's slight trip trap sound on it with the beats, but then luxurious music setting comes in. It's beautiful. The numbers are ambitious and elegant. In these times, MAKAYA McCRAVEN. And the strings on this album, there's strings that come up and they're like in a song called Lullaby, and a harp starts that song off, and you're going into a whole different place, and then the rest of the music comes in, and it's almost spiritual the way it all hangs together. It's reflective and just plays so well that it's an impressive album, progressive. And if you like something that's not overbearing, but expressionistic at the same time and impressionistic, you'll like that album. Then, while I was reading articles on these people, another name came up, Greg Spero. He's been part of a group called, first it was called the Philadelphia Experimental Project, then there was the Harlem Experimental Project, and now he's got a couple of albums under the name the Chicago Experiment Project. And he's on piano and he arranges and produces the music. He's a great jazz leader. This album, the one that came out in 2022, was done over a 4-day period, jamming, and it has saxophone, bass, vibraphone. Joel Ross, who has his own albums out, you should look into as a vibraphonist. And again, Jeff Parker shows up on guitar, and Daryl Jones on bass, the Rolling Stones bass player. The rhythm foundation is built, and then the players just sail over and expand on the music. The horns are focused, and the vibes just float across some of the numbers. The solos set the groove for this album, and it's very, very engaging. Then in 2024, he came out with the Chicago Experiment Project album that's called, you can find it under the name Revisited or Rope a Dope. And it's the fifth installment of this experiment series of his. And on drums on this album, MAKAYA McCRAVEN is on it. Ross Hill shows up again, and Jeff Parker and Daryl Jones. It's full of melodies, and the vibration of this album is just, I feel, flows. It's beautiful music. It's got a song of Hope or Less. It's a 10-minute ending to the album, and all the tunes just shimmer, and the instruments just hang together so well. It's sometimes breezy, but other times funky, and then it just shines. This album just shines. So look
Great.
up the Chicago Experiment Project.
Jim has a very salient question.
Salient. I love that word.
Oz went to college.
Yeah, me too.
The band SML and all this list, but SML really just caught my attention.
Yeah, sounded like Herbie Hancock. I
You'll
guess.
like the Ann Butters stuff too. I think you'll really like that.
And Butters.
So
It's
Jim,
just
ask
done
him.
some
Her
margarine
new
by now.
album is really good. Oh, just blows me
wait-
away. It's
Can't
just,
wait to check this out.
It's now or
So
never.
did you mention a venue that these experimental or improv?
yeah,
What is it?
it's oh, let me get my notes here. ETA, ETA, or yeah, it stands for the I think that's the name of the club, ETA.
Where
It's
is
in
it?
Highland Park.
Highland Park. That's what you said.
I don't know if it's still open or not, but that's where all these players jam.
Oh, that's not far away at all.
I'll try to give them a call and see what days they play, if there's an admission fee or whatever, unless you already know.
I don't know. When I read one article, it was just open to the public for free. There was no minimum charge or anything for
hoping.
drinks.
Nice.
But that might have changed with the times after COVID.
There is one
Yeah.
possible problem here, and that is Highland Park. There are two Highland Parks.
Oh, really?
Oh,
One,
I
one's
don't
in
know which
California,
one.
and the other is in New Jersey.
Oh, this is California. We're talking
Okay, good.
California,
Yeah, there you go.
Los
There you go.
Angeles.
Close one.
Cool.
All right, thank you, Fred.
Nice.